Hi, guys. Good morning. I hope everybody's enjoying their beautiful sunny Sunday morning. We are here just to talk to you for a couple minutes and talk to you about something that we like to always talk about because it's kind of our bread and butter. And we're going to be straight up with you. We are here because we think that diets suck. We think that they don't work. And we're not talking about like if you are on a new eating plan where it's healthy whole foods and, like it's worked for you and it's going really, really well. We're talking about the essential fad diets, carb cutting, calorie counting, fat cutting, all those type of diets, juice cleanses, stuff like that. And yeah, we're basically just gonna give you 8 reasons why we believe that diets don't work. So gonna get right into it. Number 1 is because the whole word diet is associated with a short-term goal. So we've all been in a position where we want to lose weight fast for something. So a wedding, the summer is coming up, you're going on a beach vacation, you want to lose that weight and you want to lose it now. And so you go on a cleanse or you go on a diet and you do lose the weight. It could be 15 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever it is. And then that thing is over, the summer's over, your vacation's over, and you get right back into the way you were eating before, the weight gets back on. So that's the number 1 point. We think it's really important that when you do want to change the way you eat for weight loss, you got to be in the right frame of mind for it, and it's got to be a long-term thing.
Totally. And I think you sort of got into point 2. So with diets, we always have this idea in our head that we're going to be on a diet, and we're going to be on a diet again when we want to lose weight next summer or for the next wedding. And that is because with dieting, you're usually gaining more weight so you gain weight, but you even gain more weight than you initially lost. So what happens is when you're dieting, your body is sort of trying to fight it back because it wants the food, and diets restrict your energy intake by quite a bit. So you're eating a lot less, which means that your metabolism is becoming slower, and doing this over and over again really messes up with your metabolism. So when you go on a diet the first time, you might find that it's so much easier to lose the 5 or 10 pounds than if you go on it the second or third time around. And that is because really your body is totally fighting back. It's telling you that it wants to eat the foods and it needs this energy. And simply doing that over and over again is not going to be helping you for the long term. So
yeah. So that's definitely brings us into point number 3. Yo-yo dieting messes with your metabolism. So you lose weight really fast. Maybe not in the healthiest way. If you're cutting out carbs, for example, you are depriving your body of specific type of nutrient, macronutrients. So you lose the weight really, really fast. Your body thinks that it is starving. You essentially go into what we call starvation mode. And that's how you mess with your metabolism. Because you're in starvation mode, your body is reserving all its energy and it's not burning fat anymore. So it's going to burn the other things. It's going to burn your protein, and you're going to lose the protein when you really want to lose the fat. And then so you stop the diet, the weight goes back on, and then now you're putting fat back on. And then you do it all over again. And that yo-yo dieting, it ends up messing up your metabolism. And when you mess up your metabolism habitually and constantly, it just messes your whole body up. So that's another reason. That's number 3, why we don't agree with these fad diets.
Yeah. And number 4 is actually my favorite because I used to be obsessed with counting calories. So I have like a very set view on this one. And it's calories, counting calories, it doesn't really work. Now, don't get us wrong, like the actual physics of it and the equation, like the energy balance equation, we're not saying that that's wrong. So if you are eating more than you are burning, obviously you will gain weight. But the way that it works for us people, not like as an equation, is very different because what we are eating differs a lot. So the calories in that you're gonna have are gonna be usually, so there's about a 25, I think, to 50% error in the way those are reported. So what you're eating might be totally different than what you see. And then what you're burning out depends on so many factors. So it could be related to your genetics. So you might burn, some of us might be more lucky and burn more energy than others. It might be gut bacteria. It might be certain hormonal issues that you may be having. It might be lack of sleep. So there's so many things that affect the way people burn calories that it's really hard to assess that this equation is really going to work. And it's so time consuming as well. And I think another thing is that we think if we eat 100 calories from a whole food, so let's say we eat 100 calories from an apple and 100 calories from like a some processed cookie or candy bar or something, those 100 calories are going to be absorbed in a totally different way in our body. And we're going to actually absorb less from the whole foods than from the actual candy bar. So the more processed something is, the more likely you are to absorb more of that calories, because it's much easier to absorb, and your digestion is not working as hard at it. So they actually did a study, I believe, on one of our favorite things, which is peanut butter, just to prove that. And they noticed that eating whole peanuts versus peanut butter. So the whole peanuts, because they went through more digestion, so less of it was absorbed than peanut butter. That's not to say that you should never have peanut butter, but they've done that and they've seen that the more processing that a food goes through, then the easier it is to absorb. So counting calories totally doesn't work in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you are in a position where you need to lose a lot of weight, then being mindful of your consumption of calories is always important. But when it comes to diets, they just aren't. Actually, that brings us to point number 5. There's a lack of education on healthy choices. Most diets don't explain what calories even are. They don't explain how calories work in the body. They don't explain how we burn calories, why they're important, what foods, how they're burned differently through each food that you're consuming. Like you're consuming spinach versus sugar. Obviously, a sugar calorie is going to create more of an impact in a negative way on your body than a spinach calorie, right? So that's another huge thing for us, is that if you think back to the last weight loss trend or cleanse or diet or specific way of eating that you did it teach you? Did it teach you about macronutrients, about balancing blood sugars, about what certain foods do to the body, what certain foods possess in terms of nutritional profile? They probably didn't. So that is a huge thing for us, is if your diet can't answer why, then what's keeping you there in that diet? What's keeping you from maintaining that diet? If we can say to you that you need to balance your blood sugars in order to control cravings, then we're giving you answers. And that's just a huge point for us. Lack of education.
I think this is one of the most important points, because if you don't know what you need to do, you have to continuously go back and follow a diet. strictly follow a diet and a set of guidelines, instead of knowing, like being, for example, being out or being on vacation or being anywhere and knowing how to make that healthier choice. So
definitely,
this is a big one. So this brings us to point number 6, and this is as well a really important one, and it's your mindset and the guilt that diets, like that guilt that you're doing something wrong when you're eating something that's not supposed to be part of the diet. So it's that thing in your head that, okay, I can eat ice cream, but it only has to be on the weekend, or it only needs to be on a certain day, or it only needs to be after I lose 5 pounds. There's so many ways of doing this. So this mindset and guilt really makes you look at food in a different way. It doesn't allow you to enjoy food. So even probably when you're out, all you're doing is obsessing about what you're going to eat. If you're at a barbecue with family, you're consistently thinking of that. So you're not enjoying yourself. You're stressing more.
Yeah.
The stress puts additional strain on your body and is actually probably as well derailing you from reaching your goal. So,
yeah. And number 7 is going back to the education aspect. How do you handle food cravings? So food cravings and portion control is definitely a huge aspect of weight gain. And it's kind of like, is your diet teaching you how to handle those? If it's not teaching you how to balance your blood sugars and how to make a switch from simple sugars to complex sugars so that your blood sugars are balanced, then you might always have these cravings. And when they kick in strong and you want to reach for an entire bag of potato chips or an entire box of cookies or a ton of just simple sugars that are going to cause this imbalance, the blood sugar roller coaster, then there's an issue, right? So if your diet or if the way you're eating is saying, hey, okay, you're craving sugar right now, you need to go eat something with complex carbs, whole grains or a sweet potato or, something with protein and fiber. And then that's gonna, just in a small portion, and then if that's gonna deal with your cravings, then that's a good thing. But if you have no idea how to do that, then you're always gonna be stuck in this, I'm hungry right now, I have a craving for sugar, I need to go eat something with sugar. I'm going to kill that craving by eating something that's going to make me crave it again later. So that's another thing, is dealing with cravings is a huge aspect of weight loss, and a diet or a specific way of eating needs to address that appropriately. And a lot of them out there don't.
Most of them don't.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing is that diets can be freaking expensive, especially all of those ones that tell you you have to buy this shake or that particular supplement because that's going to boost your weight loss goals or whatever it's going to do. So they can be expensive from that perspective, and they can be expensive because if you're going to follow them every single year and you're going to still go back to the diet, in the long term, it's expensive, not only probably in the monetary perspective, but for your body as well. So
yeah, if you're always looking for the new diet that's going to work for you, then you're always spending money on a new diet that's going to work for you. And the thing about it that's funny is that the weight loss industry is massive. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So of course, Weight Watchers wants you back as a client. They want a repeat customer, right? So there's a reason why there is a lack of education and a lack of most of the things that are on this list from our perspective, is because, they do help, but they do help some people, and some people are successful on it, but they know that the majority of the people that follow their diets are probably going to come back. And that's an issue, right? So yeah, it's taxing. It's really taxing on, like you said, on the body and in your wallet.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've put our favorite tips for finally letting go of that diet, never having to diet again. So we've put them together in an ebook, and we're going to put the link. It's a free ebook, so you can just download it below and get all of our naughty secrets for never having to diet again. So
and it has chocolate recipes in it.
Oh yeah, and it has delicious chocolate recipes in there. Okay, guys, so enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back next week. Bye.
Bye.